Big news from our friends at Freedom Home Crafters. They're now Freedom Roofing and Exteriors. Same trusted craftsmanship, now with a sharper focus on protecting the outside of your home so you can feel safe on the inside. Freedom Roofing and Exteriors. Quality, protection, and freedom. Coach Cam is taking KLC method basketball to the next level with training for K through 12th grade and a partnership with the DC Kings and Queens circuit. Athletes now have access to top-level competitive basketball, skill development, and a deeper love for the game. KLC method basketball, where passion meets opportunity. We're building something special at Into the Mindset, but we can't do it without you. If you've gotten anything from these conversations, motivation, perspective, growth, hit that follow button and subscribe. It takes 2 seconds and it helps us reach more people who need it. Welcome to Limitless Living Into the Mindset, the podcast that dives into the heart of growth, grit, and what it really means to keep moving forward. All right, so I am super excited to have this next guest on. This has been a long time coming. Since I started the podcast, she's one of the guests that at the very beginning, I was like, I know I want to have her on, but she has been a very busy woman and very hard to track down because she's doing some amazing things in our community. But I want to welcome to everyone, Jasha Conner with Ginger Wellness. Welcome to the show. So I just want to kind of get right into it, but I'm going to let you give a little bit of backstory here. So tell us a little bit about you and why you decided to start Ginger Wellness.
Well, I'm a nurse practitioner. I've been in the medical field for a really long time. And I did a lot of ICU nurse practitioner. I was a kidney specialist and a lung specialist. And I woke up one day, not just one day, some things happened in my life. Let's just take it there and say it kind of woke me up in that moment. And I started doing some research on my own. And I realized that we were doing a lot of things wrong in healthcare. And so it really sparked Ginger Wellness. I have a passion to get people healthy again. I have a passion to teach them about their health. I think it's so important that we educate people on what's going on. And that's something that we've been missing in the healthcare aspect. And so it's been a joy to work with this community. And I've been doing it for 6 years and I love it.
And you are continuing to surround yourself with other professionals within Ginger Wellness. Why don't you give us a little bit of backstory on each one of them, just real quick, just kind of highlight some of them and it also will highlight what all Ginger Wellness can do for their clients. For sure. I have Katie Hilton, who is an amazing nurse practitioner. She sees actually a lot of our patients now. She works a lot harder than me in that place. Now I'm kind of backing off and doing a little more of our accounting, marketing, those kind of things. But she was an OB specialist, which is huge when you're talking women's health. And also she understands, I worked with her in the ICU, ironically, so I've known her for a while. And we've talked about these very things. And it's just amazing how he brings me people like Katie, right? Because she knows that we've done a little bit too much in the pharmaceutical aspect. So she is a great aspect and a great addition to Ginger Wellness. She really, really does amazing with women's health. I'm more, honestly, lately, I'm more the men's health in my clinic. And she focuses on the women's health. And it's just been great. And then we have Sarah Bandy that came in and physical therapy that also loves the functional aspect of physical therapy. And it's just like working perfect. I think for the longest time, because even I was a softball player back in the day, and it was back in the day where they didn't regulate how many pitches you threw, and I was the pitcher, so my right arm would go out all the time, and you talking steroid injections, ibuprofen, and when I started doing things like Sarah Bandy recommends, I don't have issues anymore, so I love it. By this point, by the time your episode is released, we'll have kind of a short episode where I actually went through a kind of check-in. I don't know what she would kind of she went through the whole process with me and we recorded everything and stuff like that. She gave me 24 years of running under my belt. And she was able to give me some advice on just how to stay injury-free. Not injury-free. I think that's always going to happen, but try to prevent the injuries as much as possible and help some of the aches and pains that I've currently going through everything. And I've been doing those exercises and things, and they've been helping. So
she does a great
I'm
job.
excited for that.
And then we have massage therapy. I just brought on Devin Schneider. We have Renita that's been there for ages, but she's built up her clientele. And so she really couldn't take on more. We brought in Devin Schneider because massage therapy is important. We have estheticians that do a lot of the beautifying for women, and they do a great job at that. And then Bungee, because in Ginger Wellness, we get you physical because it's about getting physical as well as getting healthy at the same time. So we got a lot going on, but I love it.
And let's see, you have an esthetician up there. Did I say that right?
Yes, we have 2 estheticians now.
Estheticians.
Yeah, Macy, Aesthetics by Macy, has been with me almost the entire time. And we just brought on Ava Hughes with Bodox Aesthetics, and she does a great job too. And then, of course, we have Stephanie that works my front, and the place wouldn't run without her, like at all. And it's just been a great time with great people.
Amazing. So before we kind of get into the nitty gritty of what you do and everything and start getting into the science and all of that, I want to give you a moment just to kind of talk about your family, because I think they're really the backbone of why you're doing what you're doing. So I just want to let you highlight on that a little bit.
Like my boys?
Yeah.
I love my boys. It is kind of why I do what I do. And I'll tell you that my family has been so supportive. It's hard to start a business because especially when you're quitting a job that's giving you that paycheck every week and you're like, oh, this is a risk.
Scary.
They've supported me the entire time, and what I noticed too is that when I lost Jaden, that happened. This was the wake up call for me. And I could remember getting put on psych meds, and I'm like, oh, I'll never forget that day. I was in Dr. Sohal's office, and I just went nuts. And I said, no more meds, no more meds. And when I learned these things, I realized that I've got to change this for my children, and even when I'm in the office, I teach people, they're like, well, I can't change because my household won't change. It's about your household. It ain't just about you. And my family is just so supportive of everything I do and have actually changed a lot of their habits. So it's been amazing for my family and everything else.
That's what I really try to explain to people. Especially, it seems to be more moms than anybody. They're always taking care of everybody else, but they are like, I don't have time to take care of myself.
Yeah.
If you really start to think about it, if you really start to take care of yourself, then you're going to be able to take care of your family even better.
Yes.
And maybe it doesn't have to be so like physically hands-on or anything like that, but it's going to be through your actions.
Yes.
Your family's going to see that, and they look up to you. So as you start to go out and you start to take care of yourself, they're going to want to take care of themselves, just kind of like what you're talking about.
You brought up a good point, right? Because when I learned these things, my kids were what? 14, 15, maybe 13, 14. Well, I couldn't force my way on them now. I'd already ruined them for the longest time. And I had to do it by example. I had to lead by example. They had to watch me. They've heard these talks all the time. And so what I saw was when I didn't force it, they started changing. So well, she ain't forcing it. So maybe this might be true. So it's important to do it the right way too.
And I think you did it. You look at your boys, they're all great shape. They're all athletic. Did they both compete in the men's basketball
the other
tournament?
Day?
Yeah. I thought I saw them both, but they were on different teams. So that had to be fun.
They don't like being on the same team anymore,
Yeah.
They like to compete together against each other.
That had
more
to be fun. So that's fun. Awesome. But a lot of that comes from they're looking at their parents and seeing that and everything. And your husband, Ginger, the look of Ginger Wellness and when you walk in to Ginger Wellness and just the atmosphere and everything would not be anywhere close to that without your husband.
No, it wouldn't.
Credit.
It wouldn't. And honestly, it's funny you say that because it was last week because people can get the idea that I'm bougie. I'm so not bougie and I'm not rich. But I told my husband, I'm like, we got to take that chandelier down, because he did it all. And, and if it wasn't for him, this wouldn't be there. And he built every bit of that place. And that chandelier, he had to hang string by string. So, we're not bougie. I'm grateful for that man because I would not have Ginger Wellness if it wasn't for him.
And last, I want to promote our friend Jody Whittlesey a little bit with her bungee class.
She's so good at it.
Yeah, I know. It's hilarious to watch. I need to get up there and do one. Seriously, it'll be a mess, but I've got to get up there and try it. But just talk about bungee and kind of why she wanted to start that and what it can really do for people.
You know, you think that some people will sign up to bungee because it looks fun. And then you get there and you do it and you realize it works you out, you know? And the point of it is because we have some hard pressure on our joints. Our joints are not very well. And so what bungee does, it takes those pressure off those joints and allows you to build muscle without injuring yourself. So it's an amazing aspect to actually building your physicality, because you can do a burpee in a bungee sling. I can't do a burpee in real life, but I can do it in the bungee. And it just takes the risk of injury kind of out and allows people to move again that didn't think that they could, you know, and build muscle, because that's where we protect those joints, is building that muscle.
So much of building a healthy routine on the physical side, well, on all aspects, but just talking about the physical side, and creating that routine of going out and working out each day and doing the exercise, is trying to find that thing that you enjoy. And sometimes for me, it's running. Yeah. But anytime I say, yeah, I ran 6 miles today, I get that's crazy. You're an idiot. That's stupid. That's, you know, and things like that. It's not for everybody. But when you have classes like a bungee class where you could just go in there and you can have fun, and all of a sudden you realize, oh, while I was having fun, I was also working out and I was helping my body. I recommend those for beginners all the time. I did a program a few years ago that was called Back to the Basics. And we played tag. We went to the playground. Like, we did the things that you know, water balloon fights, things like that you would do as a kid. Yes. But we were adults. And at the end of it, everybody's sucking wind and they're, I don't remember getting this tired as a kid. You don't do this stuff anymore. You just don't have fun with it anymore. If you can learn to have fun with whatever it is you're doing, then it's much easier to stick to. And so I always recommend classes like the bungee classes or anything that you could just go and just have a blast doing, because you're going to want to stick to that a lot more than if you're just doing something that in your mind is considered work.
Yes. And muscle strengthening is life longevity. It's quality of life. And so I think if we understood that more, we try to be a little more physical. If you look at Japan, you know how long they live? You know, they don't own chairs. They'll sit on the floor. How many squats they're doing every day, you know? And they keep that muscle strength and health. They keep active. There's 100-year-olds in Japan gardening. And so it's important. Physicality is important.
We look at the United States and we think we are the best at everything. At least that's what we're told, right? You know?
That's what we're told.
But we just had, I won't mention their names or where they serve or anything, but I was learning from some missionaries recently, and they were talking about the culture that they're involved in. And to us, we as Americans, we view that as, oh, that must be like third world country. Like, that's got to be a dangerous area. That's got to be. And what was crazy is they said, actually, we have to prepare our kids when we come back to the States for a couple of months to let them know of the dangers of the United States, because they don't have to live in those same dangers in this country.
Yeah.
Isn't that insane?
That is crazy. And that's a lot of what we see, right? Because we only know what we know. And sometimes we live by the fact that ignorance is bliss, but we really need to wisen up a little bit, because I'll have people that go to Italy and they eat in other countries. And, you know, when I say my spiel in here and I'm like, guys, they're like, well, you're right, Jasha. I traveled out of the country and I didn't get sick. You know, there's a lot of things that we're doing in this country that is really bad for the American population.
And this is the craziest one. On average, Americans are sitting 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
In an office.
Look at me.
Yeah, anything like that. And like you're saying, in Japan and other countries, they have those moments of the up and down and things. I remember there was a viral clip that was going around where different offices would ask their older employees and stuff to skip. You remember that? And these employees, they couldn't even skip. They couldn't skip anymore because they just hadn't done it in so long. It was like the muscle memory from when they were a kid was gone.
Yes.
There's so much importance in just getting up and moving around and remembering what it was like to be a kid. Like, we don't take life so serious all the time.
Right?
Like, go out and have some fun every once in a while.
Yes, I agree.
Play with your kid in the park.
Right?
Who cares what the other parents think? Go down the slide.
Do it.
Do something. But so I want to get kind of into some of our questions here so that we can really hit on what Ginger Wellness does and really kind of where you're at with things. So it feels like more women right now are struggling with hormone imbalance, fatigue, anxiety, weight gain, and burnout. Do you feel like it's actually becoming more common, or are we finally just talking about it more openly, or is it both?
Both, both. What we've seen is a rise of it, right? But it's been here for a while. And a lot of what you hear is we've ignored it in traditional healthcare. Well, it's normal now. You're just aging. Well, why are we aging so differently than Japan? Can we answer that question? Like, why is that so different?
We've got to start looking at some of these other countries or these blue zones that is just incredible.
I know. And what we've realized is that you've got to understand how traditional healthcare has been trained, right? And when I stepped out, I had to think about my college education that I'm so happy I paid so much for. I am grateful for my education because we can save a life. I like to always make that clear, right? There are things that I learned that I can save your life. But with chronic disease, we have created a mess. It's a profit business. That's what it is. And I can think back to my education. How ironic is this? I maybe had like the smallest class about nutrition, right? The smallest. I don't even remember it. My education was on pharmaceuticals. My education was on what drug am I going to give you for whatever problem you present to me with? And then if I need another drug, what drug do you add on to that? Yeah. And it's never, well, take that one off and put one on. It's always add more, add more.
This one causes these side effects.
Yes.
But this one helps those side effects. But then there's these that we need to.
It's a multiplier, right? It's a multiplier. You will end up on so many medications. And what we don't realize, and I saw it in the system because I did kidney specialty for forever, and my mentor there taught me a lot about drugs. And he'd always say, we'd get this acute kidney injury in the clinic, right? His rule to me was, majority of the time it's in the med list. And it was. And boy, what I started seeing was when I started taking these meds off, what happened? They got better in every aspect of their health. So that really started opening my eyes even before I kind of got shot into wellness. So we've got to wake up to these things, and traditional healthcare can only treat you with the things that they know. And we've got to learn that we can look for information outside of the system, right?
Right.
I'll give you an example. I do virtuals a lot too. And so I see some people in St. Louis, and I was doing this virtual, and I go through my whole spiel, and I don't care who you are. I'm just going to tell you what I think the truth is. Right. And I'm not saying I know everything. I don't. I learn something new every day. We have to be open to conversations. But I was talking to this woman, and we get to the end, and they had put her on a med, and I'm like, have you looked at that research though? And we go through that, and at the end of it, she says, well, I am an ER physician. And I said, that's great. If you think I'm a kook, I'm good with it. I said, but I beg of you this, when you get off this call, look at something that they haven't sent you. We get so busy in traditional healthcare. They throw patients at us like it's going out of style. We can't take care of them well. Then we have all these CMEs that we have to do to complete. And the CMEs are sent to us from them. It comes from the pharmaceutical companies. So we're not getting to do our own research on anything. I said, please look at something other than what they sent you. 2 days later, she emails me the same day that I saw her in my clinic. New England Journal of Medicine released an article. Finally, I had an article that backed what I'd been saying for the past several years, that nutritional deficiencies is the cause of chronic disease in America. And I was just so, she's like, can you believe this just came out? So we got to start having conversations.
That is big though. Like that's a big discussion topic, and it's a big change that we're going to have to make in America if we want to get healthy again.
Yes.
But I mean, you're talking huge, because again, everything is profit.
Everything.
Profit business. So why are these companies putting these chemicals in our food? Why do we have antibiotics in our meat? And why do we have, all of this stuff in our foods? What is it for? It's so that things can grow faster, so that we can get things to be bigger. It's so that the color can be more eye-catching, so that we want to eat it. All of these things, but over time, it's slowly killing us.
Yes,
it is. From the inside out.
It is.
But you are talking about trillion-dollar industries that we're now having as Americans be like, guys, we don't want to do this anymore. We want to be healthy. How do you fight that?
You can't. And what you have to do is understand this as an individual, right? You can only do the best you can in the situation you're given. That's what I tell my clients every day. But when you understand that it's about organic, you've got to move in your life and change things and remove things. But first, you got to be willing to accept it. And that's what I've noticed about Americans. We are so stubborn. We are so stuck in our ways. If I go messing with somebody's Cheetos, I might get thrown down on, and sometimes because a lot of people want a weight loss pill, right? We want a medicine. If they come to me, they want me to say, well, just give me something to fix it.
Give me that GLP-1.
I don't want to change anything. And they find out real quick, I'm not the one, because it just doesn't work well, right? That's our problem. That's been our problem all along. And we've got to first break through the stubbornness, for one, and reach people. And I see it. I see people waking up to this a lot every day. But then the question is, because nobody knows where food should come from, right? I had somebody in my office when I was telling, okay, let's make our own broth at home. These are things that I do to bring in that nutrition, right? I'm not going to buy broth in a grocery store. Is there any nutrition in that? No. Burn up. And what we have to understand, the processing of the food is the problem, right? It's how we process it. Even when you're looking for supplements, you got to be careful in the wellness world. Right. Because it's about profit too. And so the more supplementation you can get from a local source right beside you that is least processed, the healthier that you're going to be in the long run. But I was telling this woman how I made this broth, and that I'll go pick my herbs and dandelion. I don't know if you've looked at the research on dandelion. People look at me like I'm crazy. And finally, I'm like, guys, whatever. You think I'm crazy? I'm over here drinking my dandelion and I feel good. So I told her that I will pull that dandelion, and when I'm making bone broth, I'll put that in my bone broth. What did I just do to my broth? I created a nutritional broth that we're not getting these days. Right. And my client looked at me and said, well, wasn't there dirt on it? If it doesn't come from the dirt or graze on the ground we live on, it's not human food. Yeah. But we've lost that reality. We've kind of been funneled into a system of convenience. They're making meat in a lab now these days. Is that where we want to go to? We want to eat lab generated meat. Yeah. And it's kind of a scary world in that aspect.
It really is. And I've definitely had my moments of this too, where I'm like, oh, I don't want to take that. I don't want just my Wendy's fries, for instance. I love Wendy's fries. Absolutely love them. They will be a craving constantly. Okay. But I know that's just not something that I can have. And you gotta talk to yourself. It's just like working out. You gotta motivate yourself. You gotta really have that self-talk and just say, no, I don't need that. I don't need this. I don't need that. But so often I've had it with clients as well, where it's just, you want me to do what?
Yeah.
Well, trust me, if you take out the refined sugars and you start to track how much sodium you're eating in your foods and everything like that, and you start to watch these things, you'll realize that you are getting more than double, triple your daily intake of this stuff.
But it's not even the sodium. And, I'll give you an example because cardiologists, they'll go to that, right? Like if you've got high blood pressure, you have heart disease, they're like low sodium, low sodium.
Right.
Well, you'll have patients that take that so serious and they'll take out all the sodium. What happens to them?
I didn't say that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're hospitalized. What we got to understand is the preservative sodium. It's that kind of sodium. And when you're getting it in a preserved state, it is excess and it is bogging you down. But when you eat organic, I salt my food all day. You know, it's just the difference of the preservative and the processing and what they've done to it that makes it so bad.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how all the science works on it, but I don't think they're dumping that much organic salt into a food, a processed food. And they're like, this is all organic salt. Like there's something else in there that's making that sodium count go high.
Yeah.
And we do need sodium. I'm sitting here drinking a electrolyte right now. Like we do need that as far as to function and everything like that. But we don't need the overabundance sometimes of the, I guess, maybe artificial.
I'll take it this way. We don't need synthetic.
There you go.
We don't need synthetic electrolytes. We don't need synthetic sodium. We don't need synthetic things. We need organic. We need local derived nutrition. And like, for example, I talk a lot about honey, right? Honey, the best multivitamin in the world. They've actually done research on honey, just like they have dandelion, calling it the superfood on the planet. Well, you can't get that at the grocery store. I have to make that so clear to my clients because when the grocery store processes honey, what do? Or not the grocery store, but the manufacturers. Yeah. And when you strip it, you burn out all the goodness. Then they got to add that processed sugar because we're already addicted. So if they don't put it in it, you're not going to like it. And it's disease in a bottle versus finding a local bee farmer that understands how honey is made and that bees go to the local plants in the area. They grab vitamin A, C, D, E, K, all those nutrients
all
that
the things
we
that
need,
most people are low on,
and nuzzle it in that honey, right? Powerful stuff. I prescribe honey in my clinic, but you still have to care about who locally makes it. Because if you've got a local bee farmer, and I've met those two, like, well, yeah, I put me some sugar out 3 times a day. What do we just do?
Right.
We train those. They no longer pollinate. Now they're just feeding on processed sugar. And that honey is a bottle of disease versus a bottle of disease reversal. That's how impactful it is.
Man, again, you just hit on some huge points there. I want to go back to the addiction side of it. People that understand that as well. When you say things like, you're going to take that away from me? No. Guess what? That's an addiction.
Yes, it is.
You're addicted to that now.
It's crazy. I know that because I was one.
Yeah. But that's why you crave it so much. And guess what, guys? They're doing it on purpose.
They are.
We've known this for a long time.
Did you know, actually, the tobacco industry back in the day, what's funny is we don't look back and have you ever realized that we don't correct our mistakes. We just continue to do the same mistakes over and over again. Like we never learn our lessons. It's just, it's quite comical when you look at it. But back in the day, doctors were on the cigarette commercials.
Yeah.
They were promoting it. They prescribed it for anxiety, right?
Yeah.
And then when you realize that the tobacco industry that had their heavily addictive 3-tiered compound, massively addictive that they put into that and bought into the food industry and they took that right along with them, it'd wake us up a little bit. But this food is very, very, very addictive. Yeah. Very addictive.
So what's some advice you give someone who decides they're like, okay, they're right. Thank you, Limitless Living into the mindset. I hear you. So I want to make the change. How do I go fully organic?
Well, let me start telling you how not to do it because I see these women in my clinic and things start clicking, and then I'll see their eyes and I'm like, hold on, you're about to go wreck your family's world. You're about to go throw everything out of the cabinet. They're going to hate you. It's not going to last long, right?
I've had that thought a few times.
We always do things radical and we do things in a way that aren't doable. And we've done fad diets in the past. And honestly, all the diets that we've recommended are actually making you sicker. These low calorie diets, imagine what we've done to nutrition. If we cut your calories and you're getting only 5% nutrition in that amount of calories, and I just cut that in half, what I just do to your nutrition, right? So we've got to start caring about nutrition. That's the most important thing. And they've got to start small. We have always been taught, consider this, we've always been taught to break down the diet. Okay, let's start carbs, calories, protein, all these things. When do they ever teach you about the ingredient list? Never. And so when we talk about women's hormones, I'll give you another example. I had a client came in one time and she's like, Jasha, you're going to be so proud of me. I made my own Tostito chips. And I'm like, oh no, how'd you do that? She's like, well, I went to the store and I bought those low carb tortillas. Strike one. And there are cleaner options that we're getting out there. But she's like, I bought those low carb tortillas and then I used that 100% olive oil, like you said, and I put all my seasoning and my herbs on and I cut it up and I baked them. And I looked at her and I said, why didn't you just buy a bag of Tostitos? And she looked at me like I was the craziest person on the face of the earth, right? Because when you look at a low carb tortilla bag, how many ingredients is in that? And when you look at the chemicals that they use, guess what it affects? Your endocrine system. And they love to say endocrine system. And what that is your hormones. That's everything about your hormones. And so we're buying food that has 26 plus ingredients in it that's going to wreck your hormones because it says low carb.
Yeah.
We're not caring about the ingredient list. When I go to a bag of Tostitos, do I like vegetable oil? I do not. Our oils and what we hear about oils, it's important for us to understand that. It's how it's made and how it's processed, right? But when you look at a bag of Tostitos, 3 ingredients: vegetable oil, potato, salt. If you're going to go into the store and you want to leave with a chip, you just wanting that crunchy chip. I'm like, you could have ate that chip on the way home. But you made yourself so much more work with 26 plus ingredients that is really wrecking your hormones. It's not helping us. Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So your advice is more of checking the ingredient list, seeing what's in there, take the beat.
Slow replacements, right? I always tell people this too. What are your vices? We all have vices. When you identify those vices, they can't go just yet. What you need to do is go home and look at all the dumb stuff you do and look at all the ingredients in it that you're like, I don't even know why I do that. Get rid of the dumb stuff in your life, right? Start cleaning it up. When you start feeling better, those vices become less of a vice and you start backing off of it. Then we can slowly work on vices. But if you go cut yourself off right now, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. You'll throw yourself right back into the unhealthy algorithm because it's just not sustainable.
It's the same thing in the fitness world. I mean, we see it every year around New Year's. Gyms get packed full and there's no routine building. There's no understanding of I should do this or I should do that or what direction should I go. I'll have people reaching out to me. I want to go out and do a half marathon this year. I want to do this year and things like that. And they'll be like, so this week I've started running again and I've built up to about 4, 5, 6 miles. And I'm like, how long ago, when did you last run? Oh, it was like 2 years ago. Okay, that's great that you can do that, but you can't sustain that. We got to go backwards a little bit. We have to go into interval training where we're actually doing some walk, run or something like that, where you find enjoyment in it again, and then you can start to do the hard work.
That's right.
But as you start to get into that harder stage where you're like, I want you to run 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 miles, and I'm having you do speed workouts, I'm having you do hill workouts and those, you're not going to want to do those things because you've burnt yourself out. But if you figure out the sustainable process and you take the time to slowly work up to that point, then you're going to get to that level and be like, okay, I got this.
It's a lifestyle change.
And it becomes a challenge. It becomes fun. It's a full lifestyle change. When I have clients that go through that process with running, they're still running years later. Whenever I have the ones that just don't listen at all, and they're like, no, I want to do this and I want to do this and I'm capable of this. It's typically men. I'm a man, and so I could do anything. It's usually a couple weeks goes by and they're like, yeah, I woke up and I hurt really bad, so I just didn't go out. It's because you didn't take the time.
Yeah.
I see that with a nutrition side as well. If you do the fad diet, and I'm going to call out a whole bunch of things here, but you go full keto, you do carnivore, you do any of these fad diets and things like that, or these kind of extreme diets to lose weight, yes, you might lose weight. Is it the healthy weight? Probably not. We could get into that later. But yes, you might lose weight, but it's not sustainable. It's not something that you can continue to do for the rest of your life.
But we constantly do it all the time.
Constantly.
So
because
true.
we're Americans, we need that result.
Oh, yeah. Immediate satisfaction. Like, we've immediate gratification is what I meant. We got to have that, right? I see it all the time. And that is our problem. Something that is actually good for you will never be an immediate gratification. You're not going to see it tomorrow, right? I see that we could talk about our gut microbiome. They're wrecked. Why are they wrecked? Synthetics.
Yeah.
It can't tolerate it. And so when I tell patients all the time, I'm like, okay, we're going to do a cleanse. When you start this cleanse and you wake up, it's like they expect to wake up and like, everything's perfect. And I'm like, no.
Shocker.
You better expect some bloating, some gas to happen, some exchange to happen, right? Bacteria's gas forming. I'm trying to roll over that bacteria.
Yeah.
So you have a 3-month process and you just need to bear into it till then. But we just want that immediate gratification.
And my question to everybody who's listening to this and just in general, what's stopping you from wanting that? Like, why do we look at, that a detox like that seems hard. Exercising to where I lose the 50 pounds, where I can not be type 2 diabetic anymore and I can be healthy again and I can do all these things. Oh, that seems hard. Or I just, I have, my arteries are clogged. I just had a heart attack. I have high blood pressure. I have all these things, but you want me to do a 6-month program where I have to really focus on the things that I'm doing, but that 6 months can set me on a good path for the rest of my life. But man, I don't know, that seems difficult. That seems hard. What's stopping people from doing that?
They're addicts. I'm sorry, it's the truth. They're addicts. And we've got to start recognizing that to an extent. You know what I mean? I had to recognize that. And what we're seeing in healthcare right now, we have good people in traditional healthcare. There are good doctors, there are good nurses that went into that to do the right thing, right? What are we seeing right now when they're still brunting the truth? Is that it's ego gets in the way, right? Because some of the times you're going to see these doctors, you're telling me that organic food's healthier for you? Oh, stop. That ain't it, right? Because in order for them to accept this, they're going to have to admit that they've been wrong. And most people don't want to do that. I had to admit that I was wrong. When I went through this, I think we should be gaining knowledge every day. If you are not willing to gain knowledge, you're actually rejecting intelligence. You know what I mean? And you've got to be able to accept when you're wrong. I'm not always right. Yeah.
Yeah. But man, ego is a big thing. You get on social media and you see that every single day.
Every day. Yes, you do.
Oh, the people that we were talking about, doing your own research and things that works for medicine, that works for our health, but that works for our politics, that works for, everything in our life. But it's like, oh no, I heard it from this one thing. So I'm going to go with that because that's just easier and I don't have time to do anything else. Find the time to
It drives me crazy.
Something else. I promise you, get off whatever groups or whatever boards you're in, do your own research and be capable of saying, oh man, I've been wrong.
But they won't even listen, right? If you're saying something that is going to counter what they believed, they're going to shut you off. They don't want your knowledge. That's our problem. Yeah. We need to have conversations again, but we need intelligent ones.
Yeah.
And so we can no longer live by ignorance is bliss. But so many Americans love ignorance is bliss.
Mm-hmm.
So then what I would say to you, I'm fine if people want to live in that world, but don't develop an opinion when you live by ignorance is bliss. Please keep your hands off the typewriter, please. You know, it's important that people understand that, but we're so quick to, I know what I'm talking about. No, you don't.
No, you don't.
Because it's taken me, I'll tell you, to know what I know today. It's almost every night I read. I'm always researching, always digging. Nobody has time for that. I make time. That's the difference.
I have this mentality as with coaching that I would never make one of my athletes or one of my clients do something that I haven't done before myself. And
lead by example.
Lead by example,
That's right.
100%. But I think that plays into this conversation as well. You're going on typewriter, acting as an expert in something that you've never researched.
Ever. But people get guts behind that, right? Because you're not face to face.
Right.
You know, they don't really say these things in front of your face. They're like, I can do that. Ugh. And just a whole nother episode. But we've got to care about our intelligence.
Yes.
And if you want to have an opinion on something, then you cannot reject somebody else's knowledge on it.
Mm-hmm. If you have a right to an opinion, they have a right.
Exactly. And then dig. Because when you actually take the time, it'll show you some things.
Yeah. It's been really fun to get away from the social media side of it and go into, I've tried to do this more this year. As I see people that will be behind the keyboard, I reach out to them. Hey, let's get lunch. Let's have a conversation, an actual discussion.
See, I'm not there yet. I'm still at the phase of ignoring.
It's been really interesting. Well, you know, with the podcast, obviously,
yes.
I like to have conversations. So it's been really interesting getting to know some of the people that if I was just basing off of how they act on social media, we would be complete opposites. But then once you sit down, you start having a conversation, you're like, no, our theology is actually pretty close. There's just a few little things that's throwing you this way and throwing me this way.
Right. And then through conversations, you both gain knowledge.
Yes.
It just needs to start happening again. We got to be okay with having conversations instead of calling people names, right? Just because they don't agree with you.
Find a restaurant that serves organic food.
Yes.
And go and meet there and have these intelligent discussions.
Right.
More often.
Right.
I want to get into the women's health side a little bit more. I want to bring up the HRT and kind of the avenue that you're going with that. We kind of hit on a little bit where maybe not so much the HRT side, but I think when women look into HRT, peptide, the GLP-1s, the Ozempics, and the things like that, they're looking for that magic pill.
Yeah.
But like you said, I'm not the one.
Yeah.
I know why, but I want you to explain a little bit more of what goes into that process when you have male or female walk into your clinic and they're having the symptoms of some type of hormone issue and kind of how you take them through that process and figure it out. And then once they are on something or you do have them on that kind of path, what are you doing to support that along the way?
So first of all, every client that comes in there, whether they're weight loss or hormone, is going to hear my first spiel. And we already talked about it, right? Because what we also have to understand is that these ingredients are affecting our hormones at every level. Now let's talk about hormones in our food. You know, let's talk about the processed meat in the grocery store. Oh, it's there. Big time. Big time. And one of the biggest things that me and women and men talk about, because it's affecting us both in a rapid way, and I can give you some examples, is when you eat grocery store meat, what are we getting from that? You know, we're like, protein, you need protein. So you go buy all these steaks at Walmart, and what you just got was a whole lot of estrogen. And when you realize that these corporate ran animal farms, these animals do not graze on grass. They do not eat from the land we live on. They are fed synthetically grained, hormone-enriched food. They give them estrogen. Why? Because estrogen makes women hungrier. You know what happens to us once a week, once a month, you know,
Right.
want to eat more. It's going to make them hungrier. They eat more, and weight is money. They're going to control what they feed them, and then they're going to add more things to make them fatter. Animal is supplemental to the human body because of what it eats in the first place. We've lost that concept, right? Straight with bees. Matters what you're feeding them. And so if you're going to get that grocery store meat, you're getting a lot of estrogen. You're getting a lot of synthetic fed foods. You can eat all the meat you want. I've seen this in my clinic like crazy. And it not affect heart disease or anything if you're eating grass-fed local, but that's pulling those estrogens out too. Now let's talk about milk and cheese in our store, because it's not the same as Italy. It's not. And think about this. What do they do about like raw cheese, right? Or raw milk? They tell you, oh, don't you dare go to local farms and get that. But you'll go to your local Western Sizzlin and eat their pork all day long. That should terrify you more than milk. Can we not smell our own food?
Yeah.
Are we not smart enough to choose what we want to eat and where we want to get it, right? But when you understand that cow's milk has a lot of estrogen in it, pregnant cow already has high estrogen. What these corporate dairy farms do, smack them with some more estrogen, right? Because they're going to produce more milk. And if they produce more milk, that's more profit. We've just got to become aware of these things. That is the majority of my appointment. We're going to talk about, we can't even just talk about that. We got to talk about glyphosates, pesticides. They are turning testosterone into estrogen. So for a man, right? Look at what's happening with our men. I will see them in my clinic. I will get these hormones like, why am I so bloated? You know, why do I feel like I got man boobs and I was emotional today? And I'll get their labs and it's like, well, because you have no testosterone, but you got quite a bit of estrogen, right? And it's what we're doing environmentally. That's why we're seeing so much infertility in this country. We're wrecking hormones. We're flipping them to the opposite way.
Well, and it's, I'm 36. I look at friends, people I went to school with, people that are my age, people that are younger than me, and they're already working with ED medication, and they're already having to supplement with testosterone and things like that. I mean, we're talking some late 20s.
Oh, I've seen.
Having to do, and I'm like, what?
I saw a 15-year-old boy that had 150 testosterone. Normal for that age to be around 1,000, and I don't even think they know what the accurate level is, right?
Yeah.
It's younger and younger and younger that we're seeing.
I kind of like encourage parents to do this as well. My son was going in to see his doctor. I said, hey, while you're in there, see if they'll do a blood panel for you. And thankfully his doctor, he was smart about it. My son went in there and he told him, he goes, I really want to do like a blood panel. And he goes, I could do that for you here. It's going to cost a lot. So he goes, why don't you fill out this form, circle the different things that you want to be tested, and then go to the health department and they do it and blah, blah, blah.
Whoever that doctor is, bless him.
I know.
I got in trouble for doing that.
Yeah, I was like, that's interesting. Yeah. That's why I won't mention the name.
Don't.
But I was like, that's awesome. That's really good. So he sent the picture of the sheet and he goes, okay, what should I test? And he's going through and, he's an athlete and he's doing this stuff. So I was like, I want to check your iron and your ferritin, your B12 and like some of these things. And I was like, you know what? I wonder what your testosterone is. Just out of curiosity. I'd be interested to see what your estrogen, levels are and things, just out of curiosity. And so went ahead and circled those as well.
He did?
Yeah.
Good for him.
Because I was like, I think it'd be nice to see, because we see our kids, especially this next generation, going through this weird, we're talking, these are like the COVID kids. So they're going through this weird thing of, I also told him to check his vitamin D. We're typically low on that.
Oh, yeah.
Now, because we're just not outside as much. We're not
It's not even, it's an absorption issue in our guts. Our guts are not absorbing vitamins.
And so I'm just like, I want to see what these levels are in a 17-year-old kid. And he's going to yell at me for talking about this on here because I know all his friends are going to be like, so what's your testosterone? How much?
Right.
But when I get tested for it and everything. And it's something that all males should do because I guarantee you will be surprised.
But traditional won't typically because they really don't know what to do with it. Right.
Right. Yeah.
And then they have the idea in their head, well, if it comes back, I'm supposed to prescribe something. And for instance, I see kids all the time. I do nutritional counseling with kids. Would I ever treat them with hormone therapy? Absolutely not. But are we not supposed to be doing preventative medicine? If I'm not willing to look.
That's a no-no. We're not supposed to talk about that.
Well, actually, you're right. But we've got to start finding these things early so that we can, because lifestyle goes a long way, long way. And if I can guide them nutritionally and we reverse that, that's prevention. And that's what healthcare's got to get back to.
I had a older gentleman tell me a few days ago, we were having a conversation about health and things like that. And I was talking about the word longevity. He was like, most men don't want to live till they're 100. I was like, look, maybe we don't live till we're 100. If that's not what you want, that's fine. But if I live till I'm 75, 80, 89, 90, whatever age it is I live to, I want to be able to live my best life.
That's
up to that point.
Of life.
Yes. The best quality of life. I don't want to the last 10 to 15 years of my life be my kids changing my diapers or something like that. I want to still be able to go out and to experience things and do things and stuff like that. That's what I mean when I say longevity. I'm not talking about death. It's going to happen to all of us. We know it's going to hit us. I know where I'm going. I'm good. Like, I'm going to be happy with that. Trust me. I'm excited for that when that happens one day. But until I get to that point, that longevity means the best quality of life that I can live.
But the stubbornness, and some in my family used to say this all the time. Well, Jasha, I'm going to die of something anyways. One day I might as well live it up, right? So if I thought that they were just going to one day, you can live your life, you can eat the Cheetos and all the things that you want to eat, and then one day you were just going to die. I'd be like, cool, you got to do what you want. It's not like that. Are they not paying attention? Because it is disease after disease. It is you're living your golden years in the doctor's office, procedure after procedure, amputations from diabetes, stents after stents. And it's just not that. It's poor quality of life.
Yeah. And that's, we had the Go Force on just a few weeks ago. And Jeremy has quit drinking alcohol. He talks about it, how it was just kind of poisoning his life in the sense of how you feel when you do it. So whenever I hear people say, because I quit drinking, it'll be 3 years in November since I've had any alcohol. And when I hear people say, oh, I'm going to die, like what you're saying, I'm going to die anyways, might as well enjoy life. You're not. Trust me. If that's what you're enjoying is that low quality of life, then it's not a life. It's just not. What you'll realize when you start to take some of those little negative things out of your life and you start to feel a little bit better, you'll start to realize, and Jeremy said this, that life's a lot more enjoyable.
Oh man, it is.
And those things that, like with drinking or specifically drinking, he goes, I was worried about when we went to, our off-roading things, or when we had barbecues, or when we did things like that, all the things I used to drink at. Because what I found out is I still have fun.
Yes.
And in fact, I have like more fun, and I get to remember that fun.
That's so true.
And things because I've taken that kind of toxic thing out.
That's ironic. I stopped drinking about 1.5 years ago. Never drank on the daily, but you'd go out and you'd think, okay, I gotta, to be social, I need to have a drink. And I remember when I stopped, and I won't call out their names, but I went and met some friends at Big Whiskey's, right? I was there first. And so I'm like, I told the waitress, I'm like, bring me a water, but put it in one of your cocktail glasses and give me a lime in it and put those little black straws in it. And they figured me out. They're like, why are you doing that? You know? And then I realized I can have fun. I feel so much better. And then as we age, even if you do it one night a week, it's affecting how many days? It's not just affecting you that next morning.
Before I completely quit, I had worked up to, I guess, a 1, maybe 2 glasses of wine each night in cap. You know, it's what everybody says. Oh, it's just my nightcap. It's just how I relax for the day. I was like, I don't want to do that anymore and maybe it's the old athlete mentality or whatever it is, but I was like, I don't want to be controlled by that.
Yes.
I don't want that to control my life. So I was like, I want to take that out. So I have dinner at my mom's every Sunday. Everybody usually drinks wine at dinner and things. So I'll just drink on Sundays. I did that for a year, maybe 2 years of I'd only drink on Sundays whenever I was having dinner with my family. And then I got a kidney stone and I was talking to the doctor and everything. And I was like, you know what? I hear you. Because it was very much like, I had to have the surgery to have it removed and everything. So I had the surgery and he's like, yeah, just, I guess, I don't know, be better. Kind of, it was very like, just didn't get talked about a lot of like how you can prevent them from happening again. So I did my own research. I started looking into things. And so I kind of changed my diet around trying to prevent that from happening again. And it turns out I, again, was the high synthetic sodium type stuff that I had to watch for. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to stop drinking alcohol completely. And what I didn't realize, I did that to try to prevent this, but it changed my whole life.
Best thing
all
I
of a
ever
sudden,
did.
That one day, and I didn't even get like drunk or anything. It was like 1, maybe 2 glasses of wine at dinner. But just that one day of that still would throw my stomach off just enough.
Oh, yeah.
It would throw my brain fog, into effect and everything. And so just that one day.
Yeah.
And now I'm thinking more clear. I'm processing things better. My stomach's not upset. I don't have the stomach issues that I had before. Cause there's, 1 or 2 days a week where I'm just like, oh, my stomach hurts. My stomach feels weird. And now I don't really remember the last time that I had like a bad stomach ache or something like that. Just from organic eating, and I stopped putting alcohol into my body, things like that. And Jeremy Goforth said the same thing. He was just like, I just feel better. I just don't have the issues, that fog or that thing that's just kind of weighing me down the next day after. And I told him, I said, I just don't understand why people accept that. Like, I just got to a point where I think we all kind of hit that level with drinking when you have that one just drunk night and you wake up the next day and you're like, I'm never doing that again.
And then you do it again.
And then you do it again.
Then you do it again.
But every once in a while, and like with me, with Jeremy and stuff, you actually go by that and you realize I didn't need that at all. And I feel so much better. And now I'm
fun.
Looking back and I'm like, why aren't more people doing this? Why do people just continue to tear themselves apart and accept it as this is just normal behavior?
Have to ask yourself too, why do we do it for so long?
Yeah.
Stuck in our ways, right? And it takes a lot, it takes the willingness to look and to just do it.
I think for me, it was some societal pressure
definitely
as well too. Maybe pressures around work because nobody was like, drink it. But that was just what you're supposed to do.
Right.
Oh, you're having a barbecue? Well, you can't grill without a beer in your hand.
And it's so funny that you say that because that's so true. And when I had stopped a long time ago, well, not say his name, but I was a friend of ours, the whole night me and Adam had stopped drinking, right? The whole night, what do you say? You're really not going to have a drink? You're not going to have any fun. You know what it is? They're like, well, if I'm going to do it, I need you to do it too.
Yeah, they want to get past the awkward thing.
They're like, you can't be good. No. That makes me feel guilty. So you're going to have to drink with me and be guilty too.
No, we need to go down this dark road together.
Right. Right. And I love him to death, but it totally happened.
No, that was the biggest worry of mine. A lot of my family, they still drink and everything. And I was like, oh man, that first family reunion or get together, it's going to be, why aren't you drinking? Why aren't you doing this? Thankfully, it wasn't. I had one family member that was like, I won't last. But
I was waiting for somebody to ask, are you pregnant?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
Nobody asked me that.
That's a good thing.
But yeah, I mean, that was a big worry of mine. And I didn't have that. I've had it from like some friends and things like that. But as far as like the peer pressure side of it, I didn't really get that too much. It was more of just my mentality was, oh, today was a stressful day.
I deserve it.
I deserve this.
I need to chill out. I need to calm down. And I had to learn that too, right? Because that is an excuse that we use. I have a busy job. I'm high anxiety a lot of the times. And so I had to learn. I would always say, yes, I can. No, that's an excuse. And in fact, you're more anxious because that's your go-to to fix it.
Yeah.
It's creating a cycle of sickness, really.
Yeah. So I want to get into, before we kind of close things out, I want to talk about this. And for a health and wellness podcast, this is kind of an interesting area for us to hit on. But I had reached out to you before and I was like, is there anything you want to talk about? And you were like, oh, just what I do, blah, blah, blah. And then you sent me a message that said, so have you heard about these data centers?
I like to be risque.
I was like, okay, if you don't know Jasha, she also likes to go down her rabbit holes as well and things like that. I was like, yeah, but this is a health and wellness podcast. We don't really need to talk about tech or whatever these are. But I sent you a message back. I was like, I'll do my research. And I'll be honest, when I sent that back, I was like, I'll halfway do my research. And we'll like very lightly hit on this. But even going halfway in, I dove straight into it. And I was like, okay, there's much more going on with this than what's just kind of on that surface level. And it really turned into health and wellness because all the things that we've been talking about, agriculture, with our food, with our nutrition, with our bees, with our honey,
pollinators,
with all those things, this could very well affect that side of it. Not to mention how it can affect just our pocketbooks as well, our electricity rates and things like that, how it can affect our local water tables, stuff like that. How are farmers going? Are they going to have to watch how much water they're using for their crops or things like that? I
believe Texas is already experiencing it.
Are we going to have to? And I had it was funny today, getting my hair cut before the show. I sat down and there was an older gentleman who had these conversations and he brought up, and of course, we don't know everything that goes into these. So we're just bringing up questions. So if anybody would like to answer these, great. But he said, all the water that's getting pumped into these things to cool them, where is it going afterwards? What's happening to it?
That's a big question.
Is it considered sewage? So it's going to waste. Is it just going back into the earth or whatever? Or is it going into more of a gas state where it's evaporating and going up into our atmosphere, which is then creating kind of a cloud, basically? And then are we going to have more of these kind of weird weather things that we're already getting from another conspiracy of these cloud seedings and things like that that's going on? So he goes, that's what I want to know, is what happens to it afterwards. What are we doing with it? Is it a waste byproduct? Like what's happening to this stuff? So those are questions that we need answered with them. But I want you to kind of go into your concerns with them and everything, and then we'll kind of go off the discussion with that.
I think my biggest concern is that I have concerns, right? And then I have questions that I want answered. And I think I love what I see going on right now. I don't know if I've been watching them for 6 months, and you can see this happening all over, but people are showing up and they're starting to care, you know? My biggest issue is, for one, why was it so secret? Why are we trying to slip this through so secretly? And yes, it is. It is.
Money, money, money.
And here's the biggest problem that we have. We have now officials, because we've been kind of lazy and doing our research, caring about what's going on. We just said, hey, have the job, and I'm just going to expect you to do it. Who's holding them accountable?
Yeah.
We haven't been. So they thought they can do all these things. And look where it's got us today, right? I heard somebody say, well, it's the way of the world. So was modern food. So is lab-generated meat. But we know it's causing cancer. We know it's causing diabetes. We know that it is killing Americans at a rapid rate. We now see autoimmune disorders in our young children and cancers at the highest rate that we've ever seen. So are you cool with the world going that way?
Yeah.
I mean, are we just supposed to be cool with it?
If you are, then you got some bigger questions you need to be asking yourself.
But it's money. And when you truly understand and you look at a lot of systems and you realize that profit is over humanity in most situations, we're in a crisis, right?
Oh, that's good.
And we need questions answered. And we've got to have the people standing up and caring what's going on in our city councils and our local governments, and take it even on up, because this is money generated.
Yeah.
But what's the effect on us, right? What happens to our pollinators? Because our pollinators are already in crisis. Do they have some sort of synthetic space area already generated with synthetic oxygen and all the things? And if they do,
maybe.
I wish they'd go already and leave us what we have left.
Yeah.
You know?
Maybe we can fix it and do something better with it once we get them out of here.
And we got to understand, why do they want Missouri? We have one of the best aquifers. Look at our rocks and cave systems and everything. So they really are hitting on Missouri.
Yeah. I think this older gentleman had mentioned, it was like, there was like 17 of them that they were trying to approve up at the Kansas City area. And then one large one in St. Louis, but then countless small ones throughout our state.
And where are they going? They're going to rural backyards, right?
Let's see. I think I've seen meetings with Camdenton, Marshfield. There was some brought up about Lebanon, but it turned out to be Lebanon, Indiana.
Yeah.
I think.
And we still need to be aware, right?
But even if it goes into areas around us, it's going to affect us.
Yes.
And that goes back to the electricity side of it. A few years ago, Texas had an ice storm. I don't know if you remember that. Texas is not prepared for an ice storm. They didn't know what to do. But they needed our electricity, basically, all the way down in Texas. So here in Missouri, we had to start preserving our electricity so that some of it could be sent down to Texas to help with their grids and everything like that. So if we're fueling these giant data centers, are we going to have to restrict our electricity? Are we going to have to pay more?
We see it happening all over, right?
For them to bring more in, however they do that. That's where this stuff could start affecting our pocketbooks through taxes or however else they want to get the money, because we know that they're not going to front the bill for something like that. It's going to come from us.
It always comes from us for some reason.
Primarily the middle class.
Yep. Yeah, it does.
So that on that side of it, but then, I mean, just the water, how much
water consumption? Oh, I forgot my phone too, because it's millions of gallons of water that is consumed by these data centers. And so when you consider that, you're not just talking, okay, you may turn on your sink one day and be less water. Agriculture, that water in the ground feeds our plants. So are we going to be unable to grow? You know what I mean? And, I was watching the Marshfield one.
To mention our fish supplies and everything.
Gosh, man.
Our riverways.
And where is it going back into? Right? Big question up at Lake of the Ozarks, because, the history of the lake. Geez. We got to care what we're running into that lake. Yeah. Right? And it's just, we've got to have these questions answered. There should be an answer for it. It seems like throughout time, we never learn from past mistakes. And we are so quick to jump the gun and say, well, let's just do it's the way of the world. And then way down the road, we're like, oh, that was bad.
I really like
that
AI,
was bad.
so I'm going to hold on to this.
Right? And then you hear the argument, right? Well, funny that everybody is actually using AI right now while you're arguing against it. Take it. I'm done with that.
Yeah,
Take it.
I'll figure it out.
But they're kind of forcing that on us. Like they do everything to make it something that they can be to utilize. And so, for instance, I'm told Jasha, if you don't get on this AI bandwagon, your business won't succeed. Don't really listen to that much. I like personability, but that's what's happening, right? And then you hear, well, if we don't bring in these data centers are going to bring in a lot of jobs. Really? Because AI is actually taking them. Are we aware of that? Like we have robot waiters happening. You talk about marketing.
Yeah.
They want AI to take over all of marketing, right?
It is it is very close to happening.
Oh, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. If it's going to happen. It's just ironic the way people think. And they're like, well, it's going to bring in jobs. I bet you they may even put robots in there. Who knows? Yeah, I mean, it's not going to in the future. It's actually taking them away.
Yeah. I think Elon Musk had said not too long ago that AI will, and I can't remember how many years or whatever, but it's very short term. AI would be taking over all jobs and we would be pretty much what's the verbiage they use? Basically, everybody would just be living off of what AI generates, I guess, or whatever.
We cool with that?
I was like, kind of sounds like communism or something. Like we're all just living in the same house, doing the same thing. And then I immediately started thinking of the movie Idiocracy, where I'm like, I mean, they sit there all day long. They watch the TV. They literally have the toilet built into their seat, and they're eating their synthetic foods. And then in the movie, they go to the hospital and it's you stand in a machine and it scans you and it tells you what's wrong with you and it puts an injection in your arm and you move on. I mean, it was all this thing. I'm like, but yeah, it's a comedy, but holy cow, like this is happening right in front of our eyes.
So true.
And we're just accepting it.
So true.
And
the noise, I mean, we talk about water, we talk about electricity. What about the noise that comes from it? The megahertz that comes from it, right? And I don't know if you watched that Marshfield meeting, but couldn't give us the exact megahertz that it was going to be, right? That matters. Do we realize that will also cause disease? Look at other states and what's happening. People have had these thrown up in their backyards. Could you imagine? The noise and the vibrations shake the houses around it constantly, causing tinnitus, causing neurological disorders in every kind of way. And there's so many aspects to this that I can't possibly know everything I need to know right now. But what I do know is that we better start asking questions and we better start caring a little more than we have in the past and not just saying the way of the world. The way of the world has wrecked us. Can we chill out a little bit?
Yeah.
Slow down a little bit. Keep God's organicness just a little bit longer, please. Let me have it a little bit longer before we start going to everything synthesized by artificial intelligence.
Yeah, I mean, that it creates a world where missionaries who are living in what we consider a third world country feel safer there than they do in the United States.
And they could tell you some stories because I'm telling you, we've been taught a certain way. And until you see things for yourself, keep that opinion down a little bit. That's what I've learned in life.
100%. So, yeah, I definitely wanted to hit on that just a little bit. What are some things that you would like people to know about Ginger Wellness? What are some new things that are getting ready to happen up there? And just what do they expect to see within next year or so with you guys?
Next year, well, me and Katie will likely be starting our podcast back up. Or, it's good for us to talk.
Yes.
We just got
that brings me into another question.
Busy, and so busy. And so we want to get this information out to the people. But quite honestly, I've learned in life, I don't know that I want to grow bigger. I definitely don't want to be a corporation. I know that. I love taking care of my community. And we have got things set up right now that is just so beautiful. I enjoy every second of it that I don't know what the next year will bring,
That's awesome.
But he always brings something.
Yeah.
And when he does, I have to be obedient. So I just do it.
That's so good.
We never know, but
no,
I
love that mentality. It's such a good mentality. Especially with local business, with what you guys do, you're taking care of people.
Yes.
And what you just said brings it back to you are people centered. You want to make sure you're taking care of your patients. Yeah.
Because that's the problem in the world. You know, we become worldly instead of spiritual. We forget that this is a vessel. And so we go more towards the worldly ways, and we want the worldly money and all the things. And no, it's about humanity.
That's people. Good. Yeah. This is short, guys. It's a short time that we're here.
Yes.
So
yes.
do the best you can with it. Live the best life that you can, the best quality of life that you can while you're here. But at the end of the day, we're serving one God and one mission, and that's it.
That's it.
I have to ask this, and I saved it till the very end so that if I have to edit anything out, we can.
Is it bad?
No, it's not bad.
Okay, good.
So, well, I mean, I don't think it is.
Good.
But everybody that I have talked to that I was like, Jasha's coming on the show in May and blah, blah, blah.
Oh gosh, I know where it's going.
Yeah, they were like, okay, where's the podcast? Where's the true crime? I want to know.
It's coming back.
Where's it at?
It's coming.
All right.
It's coming. You know, and I want to tell those people, that's so funny you said that, because my wellness center has been flooded with this question. I get asked this all the time. And truly, I'm so busy, and I'm going to need Sweeney to come back and help me on my podcast to back up. But it's coming.
Good.
And I believe in it. I believe in it in every kind of way. And just for those people out there, things are happening that I may not be able to express.
So I saved it for the end.
But it's coming. Watch out for it.
Good.
It's coming actually very soon.
That's awesome. Yes. As much as, I mean, people have gotten to know you through this podcast and everything a lot better. So they know you love your research.
Yes.
And I remember I was kind of going through, I won't mention any of the process, but I was going through my own process and everything. And I had reached out and had a conversation with you, and I had mentioned to some of my friends, I was like, yeah, I had some of these conversations, blah, blah, blah. And they were like, she is not one to mess with.
You know,
because she will figure it out. She will find out. She will do the research. And I was like, that's what makes Jasha.
We've got to speak truth.
Yes.
You know, we've got to stop being conformists and speak truth and be able to be okay with that. I've learned to be okay with that.
Yeah.
I just have to, it's coming.
That's why I think there's a little worry whenever it was you and I on this. So they were like, oh man, what's going to be said? Where's it going to go?
Yeah.
Because I feel the same way. I mean, that's why I'm doing a podcast. And this one is directed towards the health and wellness industry because there's so much out there.
There is.
There's so much information out there. There's so much junk out there. And so I just want to I love that I get to start local with this, and I'm not going to celebrities who already have endorsements and things like that. I'm talking to real people who are living in this kind of middle-class society and in this world, and they're treating these people that are kind of surviving through this mess.
Yes.
And you're going to get facts out of these people. We're getting facts from you. You're not sponsored by anybody. No one's paying you.
In fact, I don't ever want to be. Don't even offer
to do anything like that. So that's why I want to do this, because this is truth. At the end of the day, it's truth. And
that's important.
But Jasha has an incredible kind of true crime.
True crime. Name is I'm rebranding.
Oh.
So get ready for it. The rebranding is happening. And I cannot wait. Honestly, I can't. That's my passion, is to help people. And when you tell the truth, you help people.
100%. So we will definitely be pushing that out there once it gets going again, because we've had tons of our listeners and everything ask about it as well. So
thank you. Appreciate that.
Really excited for that. Jasha, thank you so much for coming on and going through all this. We've had a few conversations over the years, and I enjoy every single one of them. We like to go down our own little rabbit holes together. And I think we have a blast doing it.
Yes.
So I appreciate you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
And I look forward to, being on one of your shows or something too.
Sure.
I'd be happy to do it.
Love it.
But I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you.